Good morning all. I'm Dr. Vivek, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Management at SRM IST Ramapuram. Today we are going to see about business research sampling techniques. Sample is one of the most important thing and which is representing the group from the population. So let us see what are the sampling techniques involved in the business researches. First of all, what is meant by sample? The individuals representing the larger group. What is meant by sampling? The process of selecting a number of individuals for a study in such a way that the individuals represent the larger group from which they were selected. What is meant by sampling? For example, if you want to take one particular data means, for example, we are taking as Tamil Nadu state is the target population. In this, we are going for to study about the study population means which may involve the based on the areas or districts, and the districts then we are going to see about some of the what is the main activity, that is sample. So in case of agriculture sector, we are going for a crop means in our study population is, our target population is the whole Tamil Nadu state. In this, what is the crop we are going to select? In the crop means that is the study population where we are going to take about the crop which has the higher production and productivity, and then the sample we are going to take about the sample farmers. That is the sampling technique. The target population or universe, that is the population to which the investigator wants to generate this results. Sampling unit, smallest unit from which the sample can be selected. Sampling frame means, the sampling frame is the list from which the potential respondents are drawn. The sampling scheme means method of selecting sampling units from the sampling frame. How means, for example, the same example, if you are going to see about the sugarcane farmer means, the sugarcane which is the most, which district is more having the highest production and productivity, then we are taking that as the sampling. We are taking as the study population. The target population is overall the states. Then a sample, it's a smaller but representative collection of units from a population used to determine the truths about that population. Sampling frame is the list of all elements or other units containing the elements in the population. What is mimic population? The larger group from which individuals are selected to participate in a study, representing from a group, that is the sample. Target population, a set of elements larger than or different from the population sample and to which the researcher would like to generalize the study findings. The purpose of sampling is to gather data about the population in order to make an inference that can be generalized to the population. Then why we are going for this, who do you want to generalize to? That is the theoretical population. What population you can get to access to? That is the study population. Sampling frame means how can you get to access them? The sampling frame. Who is in your study? The sample. The theoretical population, which means what is the result that we are going for? If we are going for a crop populations means, crop study means we are going for this. This is theoretical about the crop information. It's overall in the world wise, and this is the state wise and the district wise, and the district what is the who are the farmers that we are going for the studies. Then stages in this selection for sample. First, we should define the target population. That is, we can go for highest production productivity. Then selecting the sampling frame. Determine if a probability or non-probability sampling method which will be chosen. That we will go in the probability or non-probability sampling method that we will see on further slides. Then plan procedure for selecting sample units. Then if in the district means we can go for the block. In the block, which block has highest areas? That is the plan procedure, and which way we have to approach the farmers. Then determine the sample size. That is how many number of samples that we are going. That is the number of farmers we are going to study. Then select the actual sampling units. Then conduct field work. Then what is good sample? The sample must be representative of the population. That is, if you are going for the sample study means, if you have selected the unit means also in that if you have selected the 15 units in that particular area means, in that among the 15 units, which unit has highest number of production or any aspects that should be represent overall the populations, then appropriately sized, the larger the better. That is, which is the most leading in that. Then unbiased, we should go for in a correct way. In random selections occur by chance. And what is the merits of sampling? The size of population, fund required for the study, facilities and time. Types of sample. Based on the two factors, the representation basis, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Then element selection technique is restricted sampling and unrestricted sampling. Then this chart showing basic sampling designs, that is probability sampling Non-probability sampling. Element selection technique is unrestricted, unrestricted. In the probability sampling, simple random sampling, complex random sampling. Whereas in non-probability sampling, observed sampling or convenience sampling that we will see, then purposive sampling. That we have already discussed the probability sampling and non-probability sampling in the previous slide. That is, probability sampling is a method of sampling that uses a random selection so that all units or cases in the population have equal probability of being chosen. Here we are choosing in a equal way. Every sample which we are taking here is given an equal chance, whereas non-probability samples, which does not involve random selection and methods, are not based on the rationale of the problem we will study, but not in a proper sequence. So what is the difference between probability sampling and non-probability sampling? Comparison factors. First, based on the list of population elements, this is the complete list is necessary for probability sampling, whereas for non-probability sampling, not necessary. Information about the sampling units, in probability sampling, each unit will be identified. Non-probability sampling need data based on habits, activity and traits. Sampling skill required. In probability sampling, the skill is very required, but whereas non-probability sampling, little skill is required. Then time requirement, probability sampling means time consuming, whereas non-probability sampling means low time consumption. Cost per unit sampled moderate to high, whereas non-probability sampling it's very low. Estimates of population parameters unbiased, whereas here non-probability sampling will be full of biased. Then sample representatives. Probability sampling is good and assured, whereas non-probability sampling suspect, undeterminable. Accuracy and reliability in non-probability compared with the confidence intervals, whereas non-probability we can't able to predict the results, which is unknown. Measurement of sampling error, which is a statistical method. Probability sampling, non-probability sampling, no true measure available. Okay, let us see probability sampling. This is a random sampling. Here we are seeing about simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling and cluster sampling. In stratified, proportionate and disproportionate, whereas in cluster one stage, two stage, multi-stage. Let us see one by one in the further slides. And non-probability sampling is it's a convenience sampling which is based on our convenience. Then purposive sampling is judgmental, which is chosen in a specific area. And quota sampling, snowball sampling. Snowball sampling is friends of friends, which is in an unorganized sector. We can't able to generate what are the areas the sectors are going for the snowball sampling. We can choose an example of cottage industries. Okay, let us see simple random sampling. Simple random sampling applicable when population is small, homogeneous and readily available, which is in a very small area. This is the only one area where the production or any business activities will be carried on, and it's a homogeneous. The activities will be going on in a proper way, that is only in a same way and readily available only. We can go for simple random sampling. All subsets of the frame are given an equal probability. Each element of the frame thus has an equal opportunity of the selection. A table of random number or lottery system is used to determine which units are to be selected. For this advantage is easy method to use. No need of prior information of the population. Equal and independent chance of selection to every element. Disadvantage is if sampling frame large, this method is impracticable. Does not represent proportionate representation. Here with this everything is lot, and also which is applicable easy and for only small populations. Okay, here we see every subset of the specific size and from the population has an equal chance of being selected. Here let us see 20, which is it is the list of candidates name. Here the 20 is chosen, 27 is chosen, 29, 32 and 40. This is in a lottery and not in a everyone has an equal chance, but not on a random way based on lottery. Whereas this method is suitable for small homogeneous group. Randomly selecting from a sampling frame. Random means mathematically each unit from the sample has an equal probability of being included in the sample. Stages in the random sampling: define the population, developing the sampling frame, assign each unit a number, randomly select the required amount of random numbers, then systematically select random numbers until it meets the sample size requirements. Then replacement of the selected units. Sampling schemes may be without replacement or with replacement. So for example, if we catch fish, measure them and immediately return them to the water before conveying with the sample. This is with the replacement design, because we maintain catching and measuring the same fish more than once. That is where there is a chance we might can catch, or else we can't able to catch. However, if we do not return the fish to the water, this becomes a without replacement design. Then systematic sampling. This is similar to random sort, but no table of random numbers. Select directly from the sampling frame. Ratio between sample size and population size. That is, we are defining the population, we are developing the sampling frame, decide the sample size, then work out what fraction of the frame the sample size represents. Select according to fraction. 100 sample from 1000 frame, then 10%, so every unit, every 10th unit, first unit select by random numbers, then every nth unit selected every 10th. That is, if you are selecting 17 means 27, 37, 47, like that. Let us see that example in the next slide. For this, the formula is population size divided by sample size. See, K is the size of the selection interval, which is equal to population size divided by sample size. What is the systematic sampling advantages? Sample easy to select. Suitable sampling frame can be identified easily. Sample evenly spread over entire reference population, which is cost effective. But disadvantages: sample may be biased if hidden periodicity in population coexisting with that population. Each element does not get equal chance. Ignore all elements between 2 n element. This is C. We are going for 28, 28. Here they are given 20 differences. Then after that 48. Every member, for example, every 20th person is selected from a list of population members. Then we go for stratified random sampling, which is divided into 2 or more groups called strata. First, we are going for 2 or more groups, which is called strata, according to some grades such as geographic location, grade level, age, or income, any aspects, and some subsamples are randomly selected from each strata. That is the list of clients they have. We are first they are differentiated as Caucasians, African American, Hispanic American. Random subsamples of n by n. Stratified random sampling can be classified into proportionate stratified sampling, disproportionate stratified sampling. Proportion means it involves drawing a sample from each stratum in proportion to the letter share in total population. Disproportionate proportionate representation is not given to the strata. It necessarily involves giving over representation to some strata and under representation to other. That is, define population, develop sampling frame according to characteristics required, determine the proportion of each population variable of interest. Systematic sampling methods can then be followed to select sample unit. Stratified sampling. The disadvantage is enhancement of representativeness to each sample, highest statistical efficiency, and also easy to carry out. But the disadvantages is classification error, time consuming and expensive, prior knowledge of composition and of distribution of population. See, women's how they have been selected, and men how they have been stratified selected. Then cluster sampling. This is cluster sampling is an example of two-stage sampling methods. For the cluster means, for example, if you are taking a government's area, means this is selected in where the government is highly production in that somewhere block or district or within this areas which has a group of there only the government's activities will be undertaken. Then for example, and also pottery units, these are some examples. The first stage, a sample of areas is chosen. Then second stage, sample of respondents within those areas is selected. Then the population divides to clusters of homogeneous units based on geographical continuity. Then sampling units are groups rather than individuals. A sample of such clusters is then selected. All units from the selected clusters are studied. The population is divided into subgroups, clusters like families. A simple random sample is taken of the subgroups, and then all the members of the cluster selected are surveyed. For this, we can let us go for a cluster sampling means pottery units. The pottery units means this is a selected portion of areas only the production will be carried out. In that production, this is the first sample of areas, that is for the area is A. In that sample of respondents means here they are A1, A2, some peoples will be there. Then that is the persons who are involved in the production of pottery units. Then we are in that pottery units, we can select based on the sizes of the pots or geographical how they are selling their potteries. Then we can sampling units are groups rather than the individuals. Then this sample is selected from this frame, that is subgroup as like families. See example cluster families. This section is section 2 and section 3, section 4 and 5. Then among these 5 sections, we are selecting this section. These kind of activities only taken in section 1 and 5 that we are more in rectangles. Then cluster sampling advantages. Cuts down on the cost of preparing a sampling frame. This can be reduce travel and other administrative costs. Then distance sampling error is higher for a simple random sample of same size that we see earlier. Then population, cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, random sample within each cluster we will choose, and then sample 1, sample 2, sample 3 we will be taken. Cluster multi-stage random sampling. Cluster sampling, selecting a sample based on specific naturally occurring groups, clusters within the population, randomly selecting 20 hospitals from a list of all hospitals in the area. Whereas multi-stage is cluster sampling repeated at a number of levels, randomly selecting hospitals by country, and then sample of patients from each selected hospitals. Complex form of cluster sampling in which two or more levels of units are embedded one in the other. First stage of random number of the districts chosen in all states, followed by random number of talukas, villages. Then third stage units will be the houses. All ultimate houses, for instance, selected at last stage or have we ever surveyed. Difference between state and clusters. Although state and clusters are both non-overlapping subsets of the population, they differ in several ways. All states are represented in the sample, but only a subset of clusters are in the sample. With stratified sampling, the best survey results occur when elements within the state are internally homogeneous. However, with the cluster sampling, the best results occur when elements within the clusters are internally heterogeneous. The best result which is internally heterogeneous means the clusters will be, the sampling technique will be occurs the elements are very low, and also the result arriving also very low. Then before that we are in the previous slides we see about the probability samplings, that is we will know the defined areas, whereas in this non-probability sampling, which is based on the quantitative researches, that is random models of procedure governed by chance to select the seams control for sampling bias. Non-probability sampling, first we see about convenience sampling, that is sometimes it is called as grab or opportunity or accidental or haphazard sampling, that is whichever the individuals are easy to reach. That is, for example, we are going for a consumer survey for the particular product, means we can go for any consumers. It is done for the convenience of the researcher. For example, the interview was to conduct a survey at the shopping center early in the morning on the given day. The people that he or she should interview would be limited to those given there at the given time, which would not be represent the views of other members of the society. In such an area, the survey was to be conducted at different times of the day and several times per week. This type of sampling is most useful for pilot testing projects. Then convenience sampling advantages: a sample selected for ease of access, immediately known population group, and good response rate. It is easy to it's very time consuming. It's not able, it will not consume the time. It will be easy to survey at the earliest. Then disadvantage: count generalized findings. Don't know what population group the sample is representing, so cannot move beyond describing a sample. Problems of reliability. Then do respondents represent the target population? Results are not generalizable. Then purposive sampling or judgmental sampling. This is, for example, this is an unorganized sector. We can go for a jackery units. This is only in a specific area only. And also it's a seasonal business. In the time we can go for purposive and judgmental sampling. Only, but in judgmental sampling, we should know the particular area the data are available. If you're choosing a selection district, means in the district all the data should be there. The process whereby the researcher selects a sample based on experience or knowledge of the group to be sampled called judgmental sampling. The researcher chooses the sample based on when they think would be appropriate of the study. This is used primarily when there is a limited number of people that have expertise in the area of being research. Selected based on experienced individuals' belief. Advantage: based on experienced person's judgment. Initially, they should know what's happening in that area. Disadvantage: can't measure the representativeness of the sample. Then quota sampling. The population is first segmented into mutually exclusive subgroups, just as in stratified sampling. The judgment used to select subjects or units from each segments based on specified proportion. For example, interview may be told to sample 200 females and 300 males between the age of 45 and 60. In this second step, which makes the technique one of the non-property sampling. In quota sampling, the selection of sample is non-random. For example, interviewers might be tempted to interview those who look most helpful. The problem is that these samples may be biased because not everyone gets a chance of selection. This randomness is its great weakness, and quota versus property has been a matter of controversy for many years. Quota sampling is based on pre-specified quotas recording demographic attitudes, behaviors, etc. Advantage contains specific subgroups in the proportions desired, may reduce bias, easy to manage, quick. Disadvantages depend on subjective decisions, not possible to generalize. Only reflects population in terms of the quota, possibility of bias in selection, no standard error. Snowball sampling. This is called friends of friends. In this, as reading in the slide, we can. It's for example is in the as usual this jaggery sector. In this jaggery sector, which is unorganized sector, which we can't able to find the finding. So that if you are that is a select particular entrepreneurs which who will involve in day-to-day activities of productions, but it's a seasonal business. After that, they in palm sugars they could not go for the next season. Only 6 months only the production will be carried out. So that if we go for an A people means the A people will know who are the population, then we will go for the sample B, sample C, like that only. That is the snowball sampling techniques. But the advantages is identifying small, hard to reach, uniquely defined target population useful in qualitative research, access to difficult to reach populations. That is easy to reach the members who are involved in the productions. But different bias can be present, limited generality, not representative of the population, resulting in biased sample. Whereas in the snowball sampling, we will define the target model which is small and unique. Thank you.